Hello, everyone. So I wanted to come on here and share a revelation that God gave to me towards the end of last year. And I originally shared it on this page, but it was taken down because some language was used. But now I know better. So we're going to do take two of this because I've been feeling this burden to redo this video. And it may not be as long as the original is. I'm going to try to sum it up just because of the format that I am doing this video in right now. This is not my typical format. Usually I'm on my computer, but I wanted to still share this because this is very powerful. This is very much coming from what God has shown me in the spirit. So Jesus gave me a vision of many, and I mean many amniotic sacs, and they were filled with babies. And he revealed to me that these babies were called Nephilim, which, of course, in the biblical times, Nephilim were giants, right? And they were a mixture of, fallen angels that came to earth and, had relations with daughters or human women that they found attractive. And these were the offspring that came from that. So that is the, standard definition of what a Nephilim is. But the other part of that definition is these beings have no soul. So because of the evolution of science and technology, many of those realms, the enemy has taken over and has had a lot of domain. And as a result of that, there's been a lot of mixing of DNA, just like I'm saying, starting back from those biblical times, which is one of the reasons why God ended up flooding the earth, because there was so much gene mixing, there was so much DNA mixing, and the product of this DNA and gene mixing was Nephilim creatures, so creatures who do not have a soul. Now, in regards to this vision, God was sharing with me that these babies in the amniotic sacs that I saw was a big room full of them. And I will put a clip here of a project that is coming out where they will literally make and create babies in a laboratory for couples who are unable to conceive and who have been having trouble having children, and they really want them. They are working on projects now to actually create these babies that have no soul.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year.
Jesus revealed that these Nephilim creatures, they live on the earth. These Nephilim humans, right? We'll call them Nephilim human because they look like a human. They look like me. They look like you. They look like normal people, but they have no soul. They did not come from God whatsoever. He did not create these beings, okay? These creatures are pure hellish. And I mean that because they have no soul. They have no spirit that connects them to God. And that is why they're Nephilim, because they were not created from the heart of God, from the will of God. His true will, right? His original will and intention. They were not created from that. Now, God is using them being created to fulfill his will in us and in this world. But Were they from him directly? No, these are not creatures that God himself created. Okay, so he was revealing to me that these babies that I was seeing was Satan's attempt to bring in more of these Nephilim humans into the earth to eventually replace humans with these creatures. And we are learning that so many of Nephilims in the earth, they are all over. They're in our governments all over the world. So in America and other countries that you know of, there are also many Nephilim celebrities. So there are celebrities that you know that maybe you are very fond of, that you have heard of, and they have no soul. They were literally created with the sole purpose of deceiving and drawing people away from Christ. They were literally created with that purpose and intention. So this is really important to understand and to ask God for awareness and guidance and knowing what's true and what's false. And he's sharing this message so that we can open our eyes. Now, what is Satan's goal with creating all of these Nephilim humans, right? As I was saying earlier, his main goal is to replace humans with these creatures because he does not consider any human truly connected to him. Even if you have denounced your relationship with God and you have said, I don't want anything to do with Christianity, I don't want anything to do with God, Satan doesn't care. The fact that you were made in God's image is what he hates, truly, is what he is repulsed by, is that you are made in God's image. So even if you reject God up until your dying breath and you die and you go to hell because you're like, I don't want nothing to do with God, I want to live in my sin, I want to engage in my filth, I don't care to change or to grow or to evolve or anything like that, I don't want to get closer to God, I don't want to do anything. So even with you willfully choosing Satan over God and choosing sin over God, Satan doesn't care. He has no allegiance to any person. Doesn't matter if they choose him or not. He has no allegiance to anyone but himself. Okay? So even if you choose Satan, he still hates you and you are going to suffer in hell for eternity because he wants to punish God. He wants to come against God. And what is the greatest way that Satan can come against God and to offend God, to hurt God, is to come for his children. And that is why Satan works overtime to kill, steal, and destroy. And every opportunity he can find, he wants to do that. He literally wants to pull God's people away from them, away from him. And so with the creation of all of these Nephilim humans, these babies that I saw in this vision, and the fact that they're actually creating this for real, y'all, like for real, this is really happening. They're doing this, okay? And I don't know if it's something that's already rolled out and people are continuing to do it. I don't know, but I know that the plan is already in the works, and God has already shown that it's happening, that people are going to seek this out out of desperation to have children, not knowing that they're going to be raising children with no soul, which means they have a higher propensity for darkness, a higher propensity for evil. Okay, so Satan does not consider any human to truly be connected to him because we were made from the image of God. But with these Nephilim creatures, he considered them to be his children. So he wants to repopulate the earth with these creatures, okay? And another thing that I will mention is that many human parents, like true human parents, like you were created from God, from the image of God, human parents have the opportunity to actually create Nephilim children. And one way that they can actually do that is if I'll use someone else's words, which I thought this was a funny way to explain this, but if they received the thing, okay? You know what I mean when I say that. So when they received the thing that we're not going to talk about, they changed their DNA. They altered their DNA. And by doing that, they are producing offspring that have no soul. So if you receive the thing or the thing, Okay. You altered your DNA. And so as a result, you could be birthing children. If you have given birth since doing that, you could be birthing children who have no soul. So it's very important to understand this. And maybe it's disheartening. Maybe you are one of those people who did that. And you're like, I didn't realize how serious this was. I didn't think this was a big deal, right? I thought it was, great. I thought it would help me. I thought it would help keep me healthy and safe and everything like that, right? You didn't realize the deception. So you did go and you did that. And so with anything that we do that God is against, there's consequences, and he's warned many times about not going into that area, not subjecting yourself to things, right? That he says, I am not behind this. I don't want you to do this because there are consequences when you do these things. So that is what he has shared with this. So that is Satan's really biggest plan and that is why you see so much push of, population things and things with the weather and just things of that nature, right? We see all of that being talked about, being platformed, being just over exaggerated because this is the plan of the enemy is to push these things so that he can replace humans with these Nephilim humans, these Nephilim creature. Okay. So I wanted to share that so that first of all, you can be aware because like I said, there are so many of them that live on earth right now and they look like your regular human person. They have regular jobs. They communicate with people, but they are a part of a system, a global, hellish system that has been around for longer than any of us have even been thought of. Okay, it's been around for so long, and many people have, talked about this, have broken this down that have been in that world and have had so much experiences about that. So you can, do a lot of research about that and, just pray and ask God to lead you to the right information because there are a lot of people that's giving wrong information. So you got to be careful about that. But asking God, like, Lord, please lead me to the right information that will help me to know the truth and help to keep me from being deceived. And that's what we want. We don't want to continue to be in deception. We want God to get his best out of us. We want God to be able to communicate with us and to open our eyes so we don't fall into deception. And right now we are living in a world where majority of people are deceived and they are asleep. And God is wanting them to wake up. And that is the reason why this, page has been, started, why God birthed this page in this ministry through me. And there are many others who he has birthed, ministries to share his heart and to share what's to come. And I pray that through this message, you will be encouraged, that you won't be afraid because we know fear is not of God. He gives us power, love, and a sound mind, but not a spirit of fear. So I pray that even through this, you will have more awareness and you would have more of the encouragement to go and to seek God even deeply. I say that at the end of every video, to seek God for yourself, to go deeper, to not just stay surface level, but to keep going and seek God and say, God, what are you telling me? What are you showing me? What do you want me to do? How can I get closer to you? How can I not be deceived and walk around and not know what's going on? This is what God wants us to do. And I want to encourage you with that. So thank you so much for listening. Continue to pray, to cover yourselves with the full armor of God each and every day. And before you go out to anywhere, cover yourself with the armor. This is something that I forget to do a lot of times. And I said that I'm going to make it my business to start doing this. No matter if I'm just going down the street to the store, to get gas, wherever. You want to cover yourself with the armor because there are many demonic principalities that are all over. It doesn't matter where you're at. You can be in a city or in a rural area. I'm in more of a rural area and it's the same out here. The enemy goes everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. So everywhere you go, you want to make sure that you're covered with the full armor of God. Pray that over you every day before you leave the house because you have to be armed. And I've mentioned in a previous video, and Jesus has mentioned about even praying binding prayers, binding and loosing demons and other demonic principalities who maybe have legal grounds around you, but praying for the protection of God over you and over your homes, over your mind, over your finances, over your, your mental state, over your emotional state, over your physical bodies, your health, being able to look into those things and begin to pray those things over yourself, because we got to be armed. We are in a spiritual battle. This is more than just in the natural. It's manifesting in the natural, but it's starting in the spirit. It's going on in the spirit right now. Even as I'm speaking, there's a spiritual war going on, and it always goes on. For each and every one of us, there's a war going on in our souls for who can have our soul, and we play a big part in that. So who we choose is who gets our soul. Okay? So I love you all. Thank you so much again for listening, and God bless you.